What progress is Daniel Sturridge making in terms of a possible return?
Not really. No news about. Not really something to tell you. To be honest, it's still working. Sometimes it's better, and sometimes it's a bit worse because of the one or the other issue. So that's all. And he did a lot of sessions in the last few weeks, but it's always interrupted through a few breaks, and so he needs consistency in sessions, and that's what we try to do. So that's all.
Is there any kind of specific reason why he's not getting through these sessions? Is it a recurrence of an injury? Is it a specific problem, or what? Because there seems to be some confusion as to why it's taking so long for him to recover.
See, it's always like in a that long injury history. It's not coincidence, or it's some things are not right. So if you are that often injured, so and to find out, so it's really, we have to be really sensitive with all the informations we get, and that's what we try to do. That we find a point from which one we can really train and build up fitness. That he could do a lot of sessions in the last few weeks, but how I said, always interrupted through a few different issues where we always have to wait for what will happen, and that's all. So we are, that's how it is.
And long term, how important do you see Daniel to this squad? Because there's been rumours of interest from other clubs despite his injuries, I should say. But long term, how important is he to this squad, do you think?
I think everybody in this room knows Daniel much better than myself. So I saw him. I saw him playing. I saw him a few times training, but that's all. So, but there's no doubt about quality. But that's not the thing to think about. And I'm not here to think about what will happen if a player is in the future or whatever. So we have to work in this moment and together with Daniel on his fitness. That's all what we have to do. And then there's no doubt that he's a very good player. So how everybody knows. So that's all. But in this moment, and that's how I understand it, he's not available, and so we don't have to talk too much about him because he's not here. He cannot play tomorrow, and for sure not against Leicester. And I don't know what happens after Leicester, to be honest.
It would be remiss of me not to ask you, with transfer window about to close, whether you plan or hope or think you may do any sort of business, be it incomings or outgoings. Do you plan something?
A plan? Well, that's how I said. We are always busy. We always on work, and we always check the possibilities, and that's what we did since I'm here. And now it's to close the window. So we have to. If something happens, we will see. So, but there's nothing to say about in this moment, because if we would be close to something, everything I could say now would disturb this, and if not, it's the same situation. So we have it's nothing to say. You have to wait. So like I have to wait maybe, and I have no problem with this. It's like it is, and you know, I'm fine with the squad. Everybody can see we have the squad was never a problem. Not 1 second. It's all about injuries and the number of games. So it doesn't fit too good. Yeah, and so that's the reason why, of course, we thought about a few things, but only if it makes really sense for us.
So looking to this FA Cup game with what you just said there, I suppose the one thing that you don't want is a replay.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to replay, but I would like to win without a second game. That's right. But the situation is like it is. I think in this moment in England there are only 2 clubs in all competition. That's Man City and ourselves, and so that's really busy time. So and especially the last since Norwich, I heard about that Leicester had 3 days off. Tottenham was in Barcelona. I don't know what the other clubs did, but I think not training every day. We played, and that's a big difference. So we have to, but everything is good. We came through, and now we have to think about the West Ham game and the team for the West Ham game. The Stoke game maybe was not best football ever, but on the one side it was successful, on the other side it was very intensive. We broke all records. The squad ran 156 kilometers. I had a few games with overtime. This number of kilometers I've never had. So that Stoke only had 3 kilometers less. So it was intensive, how everybody could see, fighting for each yard, and that's how it is. So we can't ignore this, and we will not ignore this.
Jack, I just wondered what the other night did for the team in terms of morale and team spirit, and how much that can bring to any team, the experience of going through so far.
But I can't give you the answer now. Of course, it was great. The last 2 games were great for us. It was at the end. It's Norwich. I still not forgot it. So it was a great experience. That something like this is possible. That's great. And we were on the good side. And then the same with the Stoke game. So both games were very intensive, but for us very successful. So of course that helps in terms of becoming a better team, but we are still a good team in the understanding of team. We are all good together, so there's no problems between the players or things like this. They're all they like each other, they work hard. That's the truth. But at the end, we have to bring this all 3 days on the pitch, and that's what we try to do. And so it's we will see what it really in a long term, which influence it will have, but in the moment we feel much better than we would have lost both games, of course.
You played a very young side in the last round against Exeter. Given that you've got 2 important Premier League games next week, will it be another young side?
Yes.
So,
but it depends on what is young in your opinion. Yeah. So, football players usually are still young. If we are all old after 35, then we are all old and they are all young. But it will be a different team for sure to the last game. We have no other chance. How I said, 156 kilometers. We had a few players. They had 17 kilometers in this game. Highest high speed ever, things like this. Nobody forced it before. I said, no, please try to break all records. So it was the game, and we wanted to go to the final, and we had to fight for it, and they did it. That's great. So, but we cannot say, come on. No, it's West Ham, it's FA Cup, it's the World Championship or whatever, and again against Leicester, and again against and all this stuff. That's how it's not working. It works not like this. So. We have to make a few changes. We will make them, but really only, because we want to win the game. That's the only reason. And when I think on the Exeter game at Anfield, it was great. It was really great. Atmosphere was great. How I said, unbelievable. Sold out, perfect. So hopefully it's sold out again against West Ham. The boys who will be on the pitch will start or will come in. They will give everything because they will go to the next round. They will really win each game. It is like this. Maybe you cannot see all the time, but inside they are always big fighters, and that's good. I love this attitude. But of course, everybody knows about the situation of West Ham. They're a really good side. They play good football. They have few players back, few players maybe are injured, maybe they make a few changes. I don't know. We will see. But we played against them. We played bad at West Ham, to be honest, but they are in a good moment. They had a few really good games in the last weeks. So we know what will be needed in a game like this, and that's why we changed the team.
At the Stoke and Norwich game, obviously had exciting ends to them at the finishing of the game. What do you think's changed in this squad to get them over the line, as it were? Do you think?
In general, or what?
Just to get over the line, to get the win.
Oh my God! We cannot see we planned this. We cannot say we planned this. It was a big portion of luck in this situation. We fight it 2 times for a second ball. At the end, Adam Lallana didn't touch the ball with 100%, or it was a good idea or not, or coincidence, whatever. Ball was in the net, so it's not too important. But I think the team showed in the last few weeks very often that they don't give up in a game. So we had a few times a problem with not a best start, and sometimes we conceded the first goal, and then we need too often, in my opinion, we need to strike back. But sometimes it worked. That's the truth. So that's how you learn. It's how you learn for football, for life as a footballer, and how you learn for life in general. That's what we always try to do. Take the right information out of the games and use it in the next game. That's the plan. So, but all the games are different. That's a problem. But next time, when we are 4-3 in a lead and got a goal 4-4, I'm sure everybody will think, there's still a possibility. As long as the final whistle, nobody heard the final whistle, there's still an opportunity for us, and we would try it again.
You spoke a lot about the number of games you've had to play. Is there a concern, do you have any concern that the players had no downtime, and so they can't cover?
To be honest, how can you ask this question? To be honest, I'm completely cool. But this is a question. I'm not in a position, and the players are not in a position to concern or to moan about it. But to play all 3 days, it's difficult. It's difficult. I cannot. What shall I say? No, that it is like it is. And if I speak about it, then it's but maybe the squad should be bigger. They will come back. So, or you have to buy a few players. They will come back, and then you have 38 players for maybe 5 games. So that's not possible. We are not here to throw the money out of the window. We try to work with what we have. So, and of course it's difficult to always to stay highly concentrated, to always to do this, to do different things. And sometimes, how I said, and other clubs, they have time. That's okay. They went out of a cup or whatever, are not anymore in, and so they use the time, because in all the other moments in Italy they have the same situation. So they use the first moment where they have time, go. We are 1 month after Boxing Days. So how many games will we have after Boxing Days? But we are still here, and we played 2 of the spectacular games at the end of this period, and now we go on. So, but don't ask it. The answer is clear. So yes, it's not too less. It's not. Nobody is wants a few games more and say, come on, maybe on this Tuesday we can take another game in, maybe a new cup or something. It's not like it is. But we are professional football players. All the players are this, and I'm a manager, so I like playing. But of course, usually you should train between, and we can't train. We always make recovery. That's the situation.
Yes, got that from then. Any injured players likely to come back soon? The other ones?
Yes, Dejan, that's good news. Dejan was on the bench against Stoke, and is now back. Steve Cork is not injured, but he couldn't play last game. But now he's available, and for FA Cup. So he's for us like a new player. Coming back. No. Well, he's close to return to training, but that still needs then a few. He's not in a team training until now. He's finished his last 2-3 sessions with the rehab with Jordan, and then he will be back on the pitch with us.
Skurt.
No.
Nathaniel?
Another 10. Nathaniel, possibly, we're not sure. It became much better. It was knee against knee. What's really painful, and I think there's no doubt about the attitude of Kleiny. So, I asked him, 1 is no pain, 10 is big pain. Where are we? And he said 7. Oh, yeah. Then maybe you should have a rest. But now it's 3, 2, 1. Hopefully 0 until tomorrow. So we will see. He will try or will train today, and then we know more about this.
Henderson, okay. Jordan Henderson.
No, Hendo can be an option. He did really well for the team, and in a very difficult time, and with no real a long-term injury, and them all still having problems, only pain, but it's always pain and things like this. So I think we really are now on a really good way, but we need to use these 2 days, today, tomorrow, and 3 days yesterday, and then hopefully he had recovered after intensive time, and is then back in the race.